right. So next up, we have our closing thoughts with Marc from Polygon Labs. But before that happens, just a few quick announcements. You might have been seeing the QR codes on some of these slides. If you're in the audience right now and would like an Ag Day NFT, go ahead and scan that QR code or go back a little bit in the video to a previous slide where we also have that QR code. Also, we'd like to thank ETH Global for their partnership in this. They have an amazing streaming platform they're using and a complete setup that has made this very, very, very easy for Polygon Labs. They've been very collaborative and great. So thank you so much, ETH Global. And then lastly, come join us in Denver. Go back a little bit in time on Twitter or X to our thread where we list everywhere we're going to be talking. We also have the Ag Cave, as I mentioned. We'd love to see many, many people there. So we're going to go ahead and move on to closing thoughts. And that's going to be with Marc. Marc, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. I don't know if you all know this, but Marc is actually challenging all the L2s into a wrestling match, I believe, at ETH Denver. Is that right, Marc?
Yeah. I didn't know you were sharing that, but yeah, I'll be inviting them all to a wrestling match so that I can get piled on.
There you go. There you go. All right, Marc, take it away. Thank you.
All right. So first, Hudson, thank you for doing a really good job of being our leader today. It's been a really good experience. Equally want to thank everyone in the community for joining us. This was somewhat of a long morning for me and maybe afternoon and maybe for some people night. But I think it was really exciting. I think what you could see from our side is a lot of excitement around ZK tech. That is what this entire event ended up being kind of focused around. You know, what you kind of heard, I'll kind of like walk through some like the key things that kind of came out of today that I think were exciting. So first is, you know, we talked about the first component of AggLayer going live and that being this unified bridge. And that unified bridge is one that we're going to start seeing chains connect to. We've got Polygon ZK VM connected there, and soon we'll see CDK chains connecting over there. And that's going to be exciting because we also released this bridge and call function that allows for you know, easy one kind of user transaction being executed across multiple chains and bridging over to those L2s. But I think we also explored a lot more than that with some really amazing participants that I also want to thank for having taken time to be here from other ecosystems and from the Ethereum kind of ecosystem as a whole. But I think some of the things that we heard was first, like the acceleration of kind of ZK tech in general, ZK systems, ZK VMs. It continues to outpace like everybody's expectations, including ours at Polygon Labs. But it was also really cool. We got to talk about some of those collaborations going on. What we see is like everyone building on each other's technology, and that's the power of open source technology. Again, at Polygon Labs, we put everything out on open source licenses. We value it tremendously. It ends up moving kind of our work forward when we rely on other people's work, and same way the other way around. And we are going to continue doing that. And it really ends up moving the entire space forward. I think one of the most exciting panels that I've heard in a really long time was the panel on synchronous composability. And I think there was every single person on that panel had really interesting thoughts. And I would actually say that almost everyone in this space should probably listen to that panel. There was a lot of information to learn from like basic concepts broken down really easily to more complex concepts and really kind of exploring the challenges and opportunities that exist there. And so, you know, anyone who knows people who were not listening, I would encourage them to listen to that. I think the ZK Endgame panel was really cool for exploring ZK very comprehensively. We often think of, or most people think of ZK in a very narrow way, either for scalability, for privacy, and really don't think about everything that it offers. And so exploring all those problems that it solves was really cool. Maybe the coolest part was the difficulty that everyone had with actually poking holes in why ZK is the end game. It took some pretty major assumptions to try to poke holes in that. And that's because I think fundamentally ZK does solve so many of those issues. And then the thing that I will forever say is always near and dear to my heart is CDK chains that are launching, exploring launching, or those who are already in our ecosystem who we're talking. So from ZK Fair to Manta to A-Star to OKX, they're all ramping up either live and just building very quickly, or are going to go live very shortly. They all have different approaches that you could kind of see. And these end up being very complementary in a world where you have the interoperability from the AggLayer that ultimately is going to let ecosystems leverage other ecosystems. So I often say these are communities that are coming together offline when it comes to working on the same code base and improving it, but also an ecosystem that is coming together online through the connection to the AggLayer and really sharing kind of users and liquidity ultimately. So I really appreciate those teams for being on, and all the other teams that are building CDK chains. I just love seeing that community continue to grow. So last thing I will kind of finish out with is just thanks again for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you at ETH Denver. And lastly, ETH Global. This was fantastic as always. So appreciate you co-hosting this aggregation day with us. And we are definitely looking to future aggregation days as well. So thank you all for listening again, and we'll be talking soon.